Alright, welcome to this video, and hopefully we are going to install the Do More software for PLCs, and the software has a free built-in simulator. It's not the type of simulator that you would find like in Logix Pro, so it's not a visual simulator of a process, but it does act, it's a simulator that acts like a real PLC, and it provides indications for outputs and values, and it gives us options to give inputs, like to press a push button or to turn a switch on, and it even has analog capabilities for inputs and outputs as well. So this video will just demonstrate how to install, how to go and download the software and to install it. It requires, I'm assuming it requires Windows 10 or a later Windows version. We'll look at that. Don't think it's probably Mac compatible. So, and even if you're concerned about this software, you can put it in VirtualBox. I'll have a video on that as well that I will let you know about. And I'll show you VirtualBox for those of you that don't know that. You don't have to use it, but for some of you, you might prefer to use that, especially if you're a little bit more of the computer type of person and you can navigate around it fairly well. We are going to open up a browser. So I have my browser open. I'm using Google Chrome, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. And I am going to Google Automation Direct and click enter, and there should be a link for Automation Direct's website, and you can go directly there if you would like. Automation Direct is a great site for purchasing PLCs and PLC related equipment, industrial electronics, things of that nature, and they carry some inexpensive equipment as well. They don't carry the name brand stuff such as Allen Bradley, and I don't think they have Siemens or any of the bigger names. Those usually come through dedicated distributors. But Automation Direct sells some quality PLCs that are lower price. I mean, I've been around these PLCs for years, went several years using them extensively, and I actually have one. Let's see. Here we go. I have one here. Let me open it up. This one's brand new. I've had it a few years. I've never used it. So you can see this one's small. This is a Direct Logic 05. It's actually a DO-05DR. And don't know if it's still manufactured and has that same model number. We'll look it up on their website and see. But you can see that it has inputs and outputs directly on the front. There's the terminal strip where you would connect to it. It requires AC volts. So this one runs off like 100 between, it says between 95 and 240 volts AC. So we could actually wire up a cord that would plug into the wall, and it would power up this PLC. But the inputs are 12 to 24 volts DC. So we're not using AC inputs, but DC low voltage, 12 to 24. And the outputs are relay. So them being relay, and they're rated 2 amps. So they can handle anything, it says they can handle anywhere from 6 to 240 volts. So that's cool. So you could use this for a wide range of applications. The only thing is you would have to have a 12 to 24 volt power supply to power your inputs, to wire up for that. And nowadays you can basically buy like a wall wart type power supply, so it doesn't have to be fancy, something almost like a cell phone charger, but as long as it's in the voltage range and it's DC, that could power your push button switches or whatever inputs you're going to have for the PLC. It has indicator lights on the front, for inputs and outputs. The inputs are numbered X0 through X7, so that has 8 inputs, and the outputs are Y0 through Y5, so it has 6 outputs. So it's 8 inputs, 6 outputs, DC inputs, relay outputs, and it is powered from 120 volts, probably, you know, in the United States. It has an expansion slot. Let's see. Pull that off. So it has one slot where you can buy an optional module. And one of the most popular modules to buy for these is the real-time clock, so that it can store the date and the time. It does not do that by itself. So if you want to run something that needs to turn on and off based on the time of day, or something like that, you would have to buy that separately. So that's not included. Has the programming ports on the top, which look like phone connectors, not network connectors. So it has no Ethernet. Has no Ethernet capability built in. That's probably a module you can buy. There's the run, stop, and terminal selector. Terminal is kind of like what Alan Bradley calls remote. That's when you're using the computer to control whether it's in the run or the program mode or edit mode. And that's about it. It's a DIN mount on the back, so it's made to go on a DIN rail, or it has 2 mounts for actually screwing it to a board. So that's the Direct Logic D0-05DR, and we'll look that up. I don't know if that's still made. But we're on no, we're not. We are on Automation Direct's website, and let's put in D0-05DR and hit enter. And I bet you they still have this model. Yes, they do. And there it is. When I bought this PLC, it was $99 several years ago. I mean, it's really been several years ago. Let's just say over 10. So obviously these models have stood the test of time. They are Chinese. I take that back. They may be Chinese now, I'm not sure. This one says made in Japan. So I'm a little surprised by that. So Japanese, nothing wrong with Japanese electronics. It's not the same as Chinese. But even some of the Chinese stuff is good. A lot of it's not, but some of it is. So you can see that this one came in. This one comes in 2 different models. One has a D at the end. Not really sure what that is. Oh, DC. So the first one, like I have, requires 120 to 240 volts AC. This one, the D version, requires 12 to 24 volts DC. Which, since you got to have a 12 to 24 volt DC power supply anyway, might as well go with the second one. That's the way what I'm thinking. It costs a little more. It's $11 more for that one. But if I had to do it all over again, I would have that one instead. Okay, so I'm going to click on their logo. It takes us back to their homepage. And what we are going to do is we are going to download the software. It's called Do More. By the way, Do More is another brand. Direct Logic is what I have. And they make, these are the smallest PLCs they make, but they also make some that are modular and very professional. They go, I mean, so they come in all sizes. This will be like a micro PLC, just for doing very basic tasks. So the Do More is just another brand. They sell it as well. It's very similar. It's a newer competitor to Direct Logic. And you can see that they have micro, modular, and stackable PLCs. So let's see, how do we get to where we need to go? Okay. Let's see if we're in the right. I don't think I'm in the right place. Stackable micro. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. Anyway, you can see that it lists lots of different PLCs. We can scroll through here and you can see that most of these are in the $200 range and they go up from there. A little bit more expensive than the Direct Logic, it looks like, but they have lots more features, and they have a video on their website that talks about those features and compares it to the Direct Logic. But anyway, if you search around on this website, Do More Designer is the name of their software. Do More Designer. Let it load here. This software you can purchase from them on a CD for $10.50, but it can be downloaded. So hopefully this will take us to the page. Yes, there it is. So the one thing about the Direct Logic software, they give you a basic version for free, which if you got a small PLC program, it will work fine. And when I say small program, I don't know, probably 20 rungs, 30 rungs at the most, maybe. Somewhere in there, it will work just fine, the free software. But if you need their real software, the advanced version of the software, you have to buy it. And I don't remember how much that is. The Do More series of PLCs comes with free software. It's completely free, and it has way more advantages than the Direct Logic software. And so here it is. This is where we will download it. The current version is 271. It's 287 megabytes. So we would click on that, and that's going to download to our computer. Also, while you're here, you want to go down to the line that says Software Getting Started Guide. So click on that, and it's going to take you to this link, and there are all of these things that you can download. What I suggest doing is just at the very top, the view, download the complete guide. And when you click on that, it's going to open up a PDF file, and then you can save that manual to your computer. That's what I did. So here's the manual. This is not something you're going to read all the way through. It's 100 pages. But you can use it more like a reference. If you need to figure out how to do something, you can come in here and look. So go up here, click download. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. I will. Click download, and it should download, or it's asking me to name it. And there it is. So now that's downloading to my computer, and it just finished. So now I've got the manual. I've already downloaded the software. Again, here's the link for the software. Just click on that, and it's going to download a zip file. And it should be in my downloads folder. The zip file, I unzipped it, and it created a folder, and there it is. And I have not installed it yet. I was waiting to do that on this video. So again, let me recap. Don't want to lose anybody. From the website, I downloaded two things. I downloaded their software, which was a zip file, and then I also downloaded the manual, and I called it Do More Designer Manual. And so I just downloaded those two things. And so I'm going to drag them. I'm going to drag the manual to the desktop, and the unzipped file that we just downloaded, I'm going to drag it to the desktop as well, and then I'm going to move this out of the way so it's not distracting. So there we go. So there's the manual, and then there's the software after I unzipped it. And after I unzipped it, inside, come on. There we go. Inside is two files. Looks like there's an updates file. That's for, I think it just gives you a summary of the updates. I saw that on the page when we were looking a while ago. Don't worry about that. Then here is a install program. So we're going to double click on that. This is Do More Designer 2.6. And install shield comes up. Be sure to disable any antivirus software and make sure you have administrative privileges before you install this. I'm good on my computer here, so I don't know about your situation, but antivirus software can sometimes block certain files from being installed that are necessary. So it's good to just temporarily turn the antivirus off. It's not too hard to do in Windows 10. Just Google that if you need to do that. I accept. You guys know the drill. Username. Just anything you want to do there. It's your computer. Click next. We're going to do a complete install. Install. Yes, let's put a shortcut. Do you want to help improve Do More Designer? No, let's don't do that. Don't want to be sending any information that I'm not sure exactly what it is. So now this is going to install. Again, if you're doing this in VirtualBox, just for safety, it's going to be even more time consuming. So again, if you're interested in VirtualBox, you have no idea what it is, you can Google a little bit about it. Also, I'll share a video with you guys about that as well. So this is going to install, and hopefully it won't take very long. If it does, I'll cut out all the wait time. Looks like it's going along pretty well. Probably about through. Okay, then we get to the complete, and we're going to uncheck this box because we don't need to read the README file. And so that is done. So we can close this window. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this file, but I'm going to move it back to the downloads folder. You don't have to. You don't have to at all. Alright, so hopefully it installed, and so here's the icon that it put on my desktop. So it looks like an examine if closed instruction with 2.6 over it. It's called the Do More Designer 2.6. So let's double click on it, and let's see what we've got. Looks like it's doing some checks. The following updates are available for download. Let's see, Do More Designer has an update, so now it's 2.7. Firmware for some of their PLCs, might as well go ahead and do those as well. So let's go download selected. And hit OK. Update is in progress. I'm going to put it in the downloads folder, so I clicked over here on downloads because I don't know exactly what we're doing here. So that's going to be a large file, so we're going to let that continue. And looks like some tips come up. You can turn the tips off if you want to, or you can says welcome to Do More. Do More is a retargetable control engine that can be targeted to many platforms, including the new BRX stackable PLC, a DL205. And by the way, the DL205 is part of the DirectLogix family. Terminator and on your PLC as a PLC simulator. That's really cool. So see, this software has the simulator built in. It's the programming software for their PLCs, but if you don't have one of their PLCs yet and you just want to play around with some programming, it has this simulator in it. Next tip, to see the latest list of features added, you can click on the Watch News star in the top left corner. It's over there. Somewhere. Next tip, the start page is the best place to be introduced to the Do More PLC with links to helpful videos to get you started. It opens by default, but if it's not there, just click View Start Page at the main menu. Video help is 1 or 2 mouse clicks away. Look for a red play button in the top left corner of a dialog box's title bar. And we're going to close those. You can always bring those back up at another time. So this is a select project window, and this is where we can create a new project. We don't have a PLC to connect to, but I think you can connect to the simulator. So I'm gonna, at least for this video, I'm gonna pause it or stop it right here, and I'll have an additional video coming up to follow this one that will get more into this software and using it with the actual simulator. Also, Automation Direct has some really cool short videos that are only just a few minutes long each, that walk through doing different things in this software, like programming timers and programming counters, and doing temperature sensing, and even using the simulator. They have several videos specifically about using the simulator as well. So I will get links to those. I will have those in Moodle, where this video is linked to. So I will try to give you all of that information. So hopefully this will be at least fun and interesting, and if nothing else, it's different. So we have only done Allen Bradley in the classroom material before this. So this is different, but that's why PLCs, or that's why this industry is the way it is. You know, PLCs have a common, there's a common feel between PLCs, but each one of them, they do things a little bit differently. And you're going to find that the way you program in this software is not exactly the same way we did in Logix Pro or the way you do in Allen Bradley software. But the Do More software is very similar to the Direct Logic software. And if you go and work at a plant or a manufacturing facility that they have Siemens or Festo or Cutler Hammer, then you're going to find out that all of them do things a little differently. But they all have similarities. So it's like when you learn one format, you should be able to easily catch on to another brand's way of doing things after you just spend a little time getting accustomed to it. But what you've learned as far as the logic and inputs and outputs and rungs and ladder and branches, all of that stuff carries over to other brands because they do the same thing. Now the way they do their addresses and stuff might be a little different, so you just have to learn their lingo and learn how their software works and where they have things at, and it's a learning process. It's a slight learning curve on any of it. So with that, that's going to do it for this getting started or installation video for the Do More Designer, and we'll come back and follow up with actually getting in here and writing a program or something and check it out. Alrighty, thanks a lot.